You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. If you want to develop your intuition, you have to listen to this show. Many people, including those who teach intuition development, are stuck in misconceptions that prevent a true understanding of what it is and how it works. Also, as a bonus today, we'll talk about intuitive problem solving and specializing your intuitive abilities in your area of expertise or work. This is a fascinating show. You need this information. We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. This is not your typical type of energy work. We help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Okay, Jason, how do we get started talking about intuition development?
Well, let's talk about the misconceptions first.
Okay.
And we'll talk about some of the things that we do in contrast.
Okay.
So, first of all, intuitive perceptions aren't exact.
Okay.
You know, it's not going to tell you the price of a particular stock, Apple stock, a week from now.
Okay.
You know, and it can tell you that there's a lot of energy around the Apple stock, and I just pulled the Apple stock out of the hopper.
Sky.
Yeah,
there you go.
So, but for anything, if you want to, you know, that sort of thing, you want something precise. Intuition is not going to give it to you, and the non-physical dimension doesn't deal with that left brain structured, compartmentalized world that we live in as humans.
Okay, but what your intuition can do is help you. I'm going to jump in and help you remove the blocks that are keeping you from your confidence.
Well,
Things like that.
Well, confidence, yes, but when you're trying to you're trying to perceive something, and if you want an exact answer,
I understand that what I'm saying is that it'll help you with your confidence in ways that
to pursue an answer another way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, when I started using the pendulum,
Mm-hmm.
and now I haven't used it in years. It's too slow for me. Because it just comes in.
It is too slow.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, so tedious. And I was doing yes and no answers, and you know that never quite worked. Yes and no, because yes and no is very precise. You're asking very black and white, very precise things.
Well, life isn't that way.
Energy is not black and white. It is not black and white. So, here's another misconception.
Okay.
People try and develop it like a skill. Like a golf swing.
Sure.
You keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it,
right.
And you get better and better, right? We've watched both of our intuitions soar, just go crazy. And we're going to talk about how we did that in just a minute. But the other thing is, and this is a biggie, a lot of people try and predict.
Oh.
You know?
Well, and go ahead.
And, you know, it just... that doesn't work because of free will. Free will.
That is exactly.
There's all. When you look at what the future is, it's a combination of decisions by many different people and entities and
that is correct.
living things that affect the outcome. And it's hard to get a very precise answer. That goes back to the first thing. It's not exact. Okay.
Correct.
On the other hand, we do this all the time. We can look at trends.
Yes.
Is this person getting better? Is this person developing their talent? Is this person
Using all that they have to go forward.
is this company going places?
There you go.
Is this educational institution good for me and it's going to help me, in the right way that I want to? That's a trend. It's a sort of a generalized prediction without certainty.
Correct.
So here's a biggie. Oh my gosh.
This one, in my opinion, is the biggest one on the list that we're talking about today.
If you've ever watched the Hallmark Channel, and we joke about that all the time because
we do.
Mom walks, we take care of our moms who's 94 and has dementia. She watches the Hallmark Channel, and they're always saying, there's always some dilemma, and some wise person like a parent or a mother or a father or some sort of wise person will say, well, dear, just follow your heart. And I want to, I kind of, I get a very strong reaction that Patricia doesn't want to say over the radio. So, but here's the problem with that. Okay. When someone says to you, follow your heart, and it's not like we don't believe in doing that, but when they're saying that, what they're actually saying is listen to your intuition and use that to read your essence, to know what's in your best interest, and then follow that. Most people don't know how to do that. So when they're trying to follow their heart, they may be following Cosmo, so an article that they just read a couple of days ago, or about, where they talk about love and stuff like that. And usually the follow your heart is about making a choice,
regarding love.
Yes.
In the Hallmark Channel. Anyway.
Yes, exactly.
For the rest of us that are not doing Hallmark movies, the bottom line is that when you follow your heart, what we're talking about is you're using the pathway of intuition to see what you need to see and gain information that you need in order to go forward in your life.
So if you understand that intuition is not a thing, it's a pathway. It's like a wire that provides data.
Yes.
But it provides it can provide a lot of data.
Correct.
But if you know anything, and I hate to use a computer metaphor because we talk about not treating yourself like a machine, but the truth is, there's a lot of data that goes through a wire,
yes.
But you need a very powerful computer to analyze that data and make it usable, make it useful.
Correct.
That's what your consciousness does. And when that line, or we call it a pipe,
yes,
is plugged or filled with negative energy, you can't get good information.
Correct.
Because you're not getting all the data.
Well, and so I'm going to use a clogged sink.
Okay.
It really,
It's,
to me, it's a great metaphor. Like Jason said, I'd wait until I couldn't use it anymore.
No, that's not what I said. I wait till it has a mustache.
It has a. With that said, I like that. That was good. But the bottom line is one of the first things I would do is, okay, what do I need? Do I have time to work with this right now? Do that sort of thing. Because having a clogged drain is not in anybody's best interest, because it keeps you from either doing something you need to do, or it keeps you from being able to have the clarity that you need regarding what you've been putting down the sink, things like that. So my point that I'm getting at is that we don't need clogged drains. We don't need clogged pipes. What we need is the information that we need to come to us easily and smoothly, so we can decide what's in our best
well
interest.
And the point is that in a sink, you keep getting more and more negative energy. What we see is that we're born with a lot of
Yes.
with clogs in that pipe already.
Yes.
And it's up to us to remove, and I would say lifetimes of negative energy.
Yes.
And it builds up. If you're not constantly removing negative energy during your life, it builds up and there's more and more.
And there's things that happen because of that. So, consciousness, Jason, is one of the things.
Is what evaluates that information that flows through the pipe.
There you go.
And
there you go.
that increases as you remove that negative energy in the pipe.
Because you have the ability to see and understand more.
To process it.
Exactly. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Misconceptions about intuition are common. It is not a skill that's developed with practice. It is a byproduct of removing negative energy from your essence or that pathway. It is a pathway that is part of consciousness, and negative energy blocks both intuition and consciousness. For Patricia and I, intuition is an integral part of our thinking process. We never separate it or use it as a standalone ability. The future cannot be predicted, but intuition allows us to see trends that are generalized predictions. Intuitive perception usually doesn't give exact information, but adds depth and context to most situations. When someone says, follow your heart, they are really saying, use your intuition and connect with your essence. But if your intuition pipeline is plugged with negative energy, you won't get good information from your heart.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the way we do intuitive problem solving. This will work for you. Well, let's see, regarding medical issues, financial issues, scientific research, small business management, relationships, and really anything. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the way we do intuitive problem solving. This will work for medical issues, financial issues, scientific research, small business management, relationships, well, really just about anything. So, Jason, can you explain how we do intuitive problem solving? By the way, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
In general, we just ask the question to ourselves.
Yes.
We pose it, and then we wait till we get an answer.
Okay.
Sometimes it's immediate.
Yes.
Sometimes it's 2 or 3 days later.
Yes, that's true.
We can be clearing for an answer or clearing a topic.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we get boom, 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 boom.
Correct.
And usually we're doing some of this stuff together. So she'll get an answer, I'll get an answer, we'll compare notes, and we'll keep going.
Yes, exactly.
But for something that's even more involved, this is kind of an interesting process. And Patricia and I talked about this before the show. She thought it was too advanced.
This next subject.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna throw it out there. And I realize that you may not understand it. It may not make sense to you.
Okay.
But it's out there for your consideration. It's a possibility.
Sure. And is it okay for them to make comments to us?
Absolutely.
There you go.
You can go to
nice, please.
You can go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org, and
make comments,
yes,
make requests, things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what it is we create a group of imaginary advisors.
Okay.
A board, so to speak, of advisors or representatives of different pieces of the problem we're trying to solve.
Correct.
We call them avatars. You've probably heard that from gaming, where they have an avatar that represents, they name them and
yes, this or that. Yes.
And once you name those avatars and you have them to be associated to a certain part of the problem, then you can have multiple avatars and then see how they interact with each other.
Exactly.
So let's go through it.
And by the way, it's very entertaining in so many ways.
Yes. And all this is playing out in your imagination.
Yes.
Now, some people say, I can't do that. And I know it's probably about who we are. I've been, my dad used to call it daydreaming. He was an engineer, so he didn't like that kind of activity. But I can go any place in my imagination. I'm really good at just flying around.
Yes, you are. And the other thing I want to say about your flying around, so to speak, you have discovered some things that most people would never see or know.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
even want to know. So,
and we're going to talk some more about that in the next segment.
We will.
But so the first thing is defining the problem situation.
Okay.
So it's necessary to have an idea of the problem, the situation.
Such as, say, a health condition.
Yes. We're going to use two examples, and we'll show you how we do this with a health condition like cancer, and second for weight loss.
Yes.
So you can figure out how, what you want to do and how you want to take care of it. So for weight loss, people don't know the root problem. They decide, I'm just overweight. I want to lose some pounds.
Right. The favorite one I hear is I need to lose 10 pounds by the weekend because I have a hot date. Things like that. Yeah, that's not going to work.
So chances are, so let's say you have an area that you want to that
remove fat from.
Yes.
I'll say it that way.
I would create an avatar that represents the fat in like your belly or your hips or wherever
Correct.
it is,
or the fat head. Yeah.
Fat head or back fat, there's all sorts of,
okay.
there's all sorts of, so, and you might have multiple places. So you have multiple avatars. Okay. And so then you have your avatar, and then you go into your imaginary space and say, okay, well, I want to get rid of you by this weekend for this wedding that I'm going to. And if you hear laughing, then it's probably you're getting a pretty good read. Okay.
and it's not about going to the wedding. It's more about losing 10 pounds or how, I want to fit into this dress or these pants. Basically, you innately know that's not in your best interest because it's really bad on you physically to be doing things, not to mention really bad on you emotionally.
Exactly.
To do things like this. So avatars can tell you, hey, you need to rethink the way you're approaching this.
For cancer, you might create an avatar for a tumor.
Yes.
Some cancers don't have tumors, like the blood disease.
Yes. Not lymphoma. Is that no?
Not lymphoma, but
yes. We'll think of it in a minute. Go ahead.
So you could have an avatar for your blood, for example, or different organs.
Right.
It may not be a specific organ. It could be a generalized condition,
Yeah.
But you have multiple avatars, and then again, you do the same thing.
Correct.
Now, I know when it was my first wife, she died of cancer. She had Hodgkin's disease, which is a form of lymphoma, and she had a tumor around her heart. Well, they had her doing these meditations where they would, with like a Pac-Man, eat the problem with that.
Yeah.
It's not high level enough.
No.
And if you're trying to heal, it's not high level enough because you want to talk to that tumor.
Yes.
And say, what's going on?
Yes.
Why are you here?
Why are you here? And the questions you really want to ask is, why are you here? And what can I do to get rid of this?
Yes. What can I get?
I mean,
what can I do to get rid of you?
Long and short of it, get rid of you. Yes, exactly.
And you can get all sorts of answers.
Yes, you can.
And just clear those answers.
Yes,
that's the key.
Yes,
you listen to the answers, clear any resistance that this avatar that's connected to my tumor has to leave.
Yes.
And keep clearing until you can talk to it and says, yeah, I'm about ready to go.
Yeah.
Now it may not give you that much hope. And that tells you something too. So you might have to go to other systems to get support.
Correct.
You might have an avatar for your immune system, which helps kill the cancer.
Correct.
So you see how healthy the immune system is.
And gives you a strength to do so.
Is your immune system tired?
Right.
Is it worn out? Is it,
Right.
So, and then you can clear that too.
Exactly.
So.
Okay.
We observe and interact with the avatars.
Yes, we do.
So what does that mean? Well, we talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
We see how they interact with each other.
Yes.
So, for example, how is a tumor interacting with the rest of the body? Is it like, stay away from me?
Or is
I'm
it,
in charge.
or is it come over here, let's talk, so to speak, so I can infect you as
Yes,
well.
I can spread. I can
Yes.
spread this. It can give you all sorts of information.
Mhm.
Again, I realize this is kind of high level stuff. People aren't used to doing it that way, but you can do so much in your imagination.
Correct.
It is amazing, and
Yes.
it can be very, very effective.
And when your pathway, your intuition pathway is clear, you can see so many things that you couldn't see before because you have clarity. There's not a big clog of something covering up what area you're trying to look at.
We've worked with a lot of people with cancer,
Yes, we have.
and it's helped at the very least prolong their life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had someone that come to me with lung cancer. She had a tumor in her lung, and I could see it was anger. It had to do with her emotional story, and it had anger and betrayal, and
Right.
she didn't want to see it. She said, I took care of that. I don't feel that way. That's not me. Well, that makes it really tough to get to that energy of
And
the tumor.
and clearing the resistance to that sort of thing can be difficult at times.
You have to understand that your avatars are like people.
Yes.
And they have personalities.
Yes.
And those personalities tell you things about the nature of what they represent.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and their relationship with each other gives you clues.
Okay. And I'm going to jump in and say, I was working with someone the other day about weight issues. And this person was basically, I still don't understand I'm doing, I'm exercising, I'm eating right, I'm doing all of these things. Why am I not losing weight? And the answer that I saw right out of the gate was that you're so angry at yourself for accepting this other person's negative energy on you that until you realize this anger, number one, doesn't serve you, but number two, clearing the acceptance of other people's negative energy, meaning you have to be responsible for somebody else's misery in life. When, by the way, everyone, that is not true. So,
Well, and that goes back to your emotional story.
that does. And by the way, oftentimes disease and things.
Weight loss and cancer are perfect about your emotional story, but almost every other situation in your life that affects you has to do with your emotional story.
That is absolutely correct. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
We do intuitive problem solving by just posting a question to ourselves and waiting for an answer.
Yes.
For more complex problems, we use avatars to represent key parts of a situation or problem, and we see how they react in our imagination via intuition. Mm-hmm. By connecting with these avatars and developing a relationship, we create a situation that is rich with information and subtle details. This can work in all fields like medicine, healing methods, scientific inquiry, sports, politics, business, marketing, personal development. These methods require lots of time and work removing the negative energy that blocks your intuitive pipeline, but the payoff is significant.
And, the one thing we didn't talk about, and I want to say really fast, is that especially when we use avatars, one of the things, and put them in certain places, cancer, weight loss, what I teach is that when you do, I call it a 360 walkabout around the problem, around the avatar, the different perspectives on things really make a difference, truly make a difference.
And that's how you can help to solve any problem. Actually.
That's correct. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how to specialize your intuition and your intuitive abilities so you can be really good in a specific area. This is a holistic way to develop your talents and abilities. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how to specialize your intuition and your intuitive abilities so you can be really good in a specific area. This is a holistic way to develop your talents and abilities. Okay, Jason, how do you get your intuition to specialize?
It requires two basic things.
Okay.
First, the actual knowledge of the topic area.
Okay, sure.
And then second, it requires you to develop your intuition and consciousness by removing the negative energy from your essence using the ecosystem approach.
Well,
and that's always refers to your emotional story.
Okay. So talk about consciousness. We touched on it just a little bit at the end of the last segment, but now let's really talk about it.
It's truly the key in intuition. People think of intuition as either a good intuition or bad intuition. Well, most people, it's not like that. You have a pipe.
Yes.
And we all have access to that pipe, but if it's clogged, that's the key. And when you start to remove that negative energy, not only does the information start to flow, but your consciousness, which is connected to your essence, it's your ability to perceive the world at the highest level.
There you go.
And we see that all the time. I mean,
Yes.
People are so unaware, first of all, of themselves.
Yes.
They're so unaware of their own behavior and how it's affecting other people. We see it all the time. When you have consciousness, not only can you see how you feel, what your motives are, what you're trying to do in the world, but you see other people and how they're reacting to you in that way. That's huge.
Yes.
Most people don't have that that consciousness.
Right.
So here's an example, and this is pretty graphic, but I think it's a good one.
Okay.
There was a recent there's been a lot of police shootings since Black Lives Matter and all of that, and it's not that I'm not sure. I don't think that's the Black Lives Matter has created this. I think it's more what's happening is it's becoming publicized much more than it ever has been.
In other words, it's more people are becoming more aware of really of the reality of what's going on. Yes.
And in Minnesota, and I knew about this because I'm from Minnesota, so I heard about this. But there was a African American man and his girlfriend, and they were pulled over, and the police officer came up to the window, and the man said, I just want to say to you, I've got a concealed carry permit, and I've got a weapon. And he backed away, drew his gun, and shot him. And
the officer backed away and shot the guy in the car.
Yes. That is a gross example of a lack of consciousness, because that officer didn't have enough consciousness to be able to assess the situation
at all.
Say, what is there danger here? Is this man going to
use his weapon?
Yes.
And by the way, I think it was pretty great that the guy in the car remembered enough in that moment to say, I have a permit and I have a weapon.
Yes.
And wow. Okay.
And that's how you should do it. That's, there's no other way to do it,
Exactly.
And,
I agree.
But the fact that it didn't work out, the opposite is true often. When a police pull over a Black person, they are afraid to exit the car. Now, I realize there's some places in the country that fear might be well placed,
Okay.
But even, whether you're, whatever the situation, you need to have a consciousness to say, is there danger here?
Yes.
Another example of that, and this is a completely different topic, but we're in bear country.
Oh yeah, we are.
People post pictures of mountain lions and bears walking around their property,
bobcats, and
in our neighborhood.
Such,
It's very, very common.
Yeah.
If I came face to face with a bear, I would use my intuition and consciousness to say, is there a threat here? They say you're supposed to make a lot of noise and make yourself big, all that stuff.
Yes.
But I would say, okay, is this bear a threat to me? Do I need to engage with them? I might even clear the bear, any anger or the bear's an illusion, so he can see I'm not food.
Yes.
I'm not on the menu tonight.
I don't want to be food.
Yes. And I think, you know, I'd be relatively confident that that would work. Now, I've heard some horror stories. There was someone that just there was the horrific mountain lion attack
On two young men. That one.
yeah, and we
Yes.
heard about that because
Yeah.
I guess my daughter knew the people, and it was the guy had one of the they were two brothers, and one of them was literally killed, and the other brother escaped with his life, and I know he probably felt guilty for running off, but there was nothing he could do. It was pretty hope, you
Well,
know.
his brother, from what the situation that we understood, was that the one who ran off knew his brother was already dead.
Yeah,
And I mean, he was just trying to save his life, and I'm sure he
yeah,
felt guilty, but
yeah.
you
Oh,
know, it's one of those things.
but that's
So,
where consciousness can really help you.
well,
So,
and self-knowledge is a path to consciousness.
oh my gosh, we think of consciousness as some sort of airy fairy thing. It's not. When you start to know yourself,
Yes.
this is the process that we've seen. You start to know yourself, and you know your own motives.
Yes.
People don't know their own motives. They don't know why they do things.
No, they don't.
They don't know when they're jealous, when they're angry, when they're bitter,
Right.
when they're competitive,
Right.
and especially when it really counts. And
Yes.
when you start to know that, when you start to see, oh my gosh, I've been lying to myself, and we've both experienced that, both Patricia and I. We know how we're lying to ourselves and how common that is. We see other people lying to themselves, but once we
Yes.
see it in ourselves,
Yes.
then you can start to see it in other people in
And-
ways that you've never had before.
And I'm going to jump in and say one of the reasons that we lie to ourselves is because we're afraid that either we can't handle the truth, or that we won't like the truth, or the truth doesn't fit what we need today.
It's a form of denial and saying it's
really
just too
is.
uncomfortable. I'm not going to deal with it.
Yes.
I've used this example before, but I think it's a really good one. We see so many people doing extreme sports, climbing Mount Everest, or doing something that's literally life-threatening.
Yes.
But I know most of those people. I'm gonna put this out here. I'm just gonna stick my foot in my Sagittarius mouth. Do not have the courage to see themselves. So you may be able to, and I saw this in the military. I did a lot of things that were scary, jumping out of airplanes, and some really things that push you to the limit physically, but nothing compares. And a lot of those people that were so-called the John Wayne types and the gung-ho could not stand still and look at themselves authentically and see who they were.
Yes.
Because that's far more scary than any of that.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And we did do something else about we used the planetary energies, and yes, we looked up information, but then we went and looked at the planets.
Well, we missed the first part of that.
Which was specializing. My apologies.
Specializing intuition.
My apologies. Yeah.
So this is how you do that. Okay.
Yeah.
The common misconception that if you have highly developed intuition or psychic ability, you know everything. No, that's not true. No.
You know what? That would be so great. But the truth is, I'll say it this way. I am still learning new things every single day.
But this is what we know. Okay. You can apply your intuition. People ask us stuff. Well, and we think, I've never thought about it that way. I'm going to go look.
Correct.
And we can apply our intuition and our consciousness to a specific topic.
Yes.
We did this thing with planetary energies, and it's amazing. And it's still growing. It's going to get bigger and bigger.
We're going to do more.
But we looked at the planets and started a conversation. We didn't have to create an avatar for them. We just looked at them itself.
That's correct.
And each of them has a personality.
Yes.
And
abilities that they have.
And they start talking to us.
Yes.
And we started out by looking at some of the scientific data about the planets first.
We did.
And we changed that to a metaphor. And we said, for example, Uranus has a weird axis. Most planets are on like an angle. Uranus is completely straight up and down and on its side where the other planets
compared to the other planets.
Well, Uranus energy rules Aquarius, and thinking differently, seeing things from a different perspective is so much a part of Uranus energy.
Well, and the thing I love about it is it enables you, it helps you say, oh, I can see that 360 view I talked about earlier, that 360 view. Oh, that is so amazing to be able to do that.
If you're a musician,
Yes.
you can focus your intuition and consciousness on the audience. If you're a scientist and you're doing experiments to find the cure for cancer, you can focus your intuition and consciousness on that. Create avatars for the different things that you're working with. The possibilities are limitless.
Yes.
Marketing, business. Oh my gosh! Create an avatar for your market, and you start talking to them in your mind.
In other words, one of the questions that just popped in was, if I create an avatar and they're my marketing, who I'm marketing to, ask them. I would ask, what is it you want from me? What can I do for you?
And the way I would do it is create multiple avatars for different groups.
Yes, there you go.
So.
All right, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Specializing intuition is an amazing way to understand and gain knowledge from the world. You can apply your intuition and consciousness to infinite topics and areas. Most people naturally develop a sense about the work they do, but without developing your consciousness by removing negative energy from your intuitive pipeline, your specialized intuition will always be limited. People who have a natural ability do not know everything. People who are psychic and mediums, they don't know everything. Their intuitive pipeline can still be clogged and affect the quality of their perceptions. Self-knowledge is the key to consciousness, and consciousness is the key to using the information from intuition. Self-knowledge comes from understanding your emotional story and removing negative energy associated with that story.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you understand and uncover your intuition. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you understand and uncover your intuition. But first, we need to teach those who are joining us for the first time, or those that need to be reminded that we're going to show you how to do the clearing or removing negative energy, as we call it. So, Jason, take it away.
Here we go. So your posture is not important.
Okay.
You don't have to be in a reverent position. People think about the lotus position. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not necessary for this.
Okay.
You can be laying down, you can be standing, you can be slouching.
Yes.
You can be walking, running.
Walking, running. I do it often when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm taking a shower, when I'm, even in the grocery store. I do. So in other words, it doesn't have to be specific, but what you do need to do is to be able to take a moment and breathe and relax, to get you where you need to go.
So when we say to eliminate in your mind's eye, clear either the emotions, the barriers, the veils and illusions, gather those up in your body, blow them into the processor. Monty's going to put a picture of the processor up, and it goes in the top. It gets processed, comes out neutral. It's that simple.
Okay.
And you don't. Here's another little tip: if you don't feel it, it doesn't mean it's not working.
That is correct.
It just means that there's a block. There's negative energy in your pipe that's keeping you from feeling it.
Exactly. So with that said, should we get going? And then we are going to use life force energy after that, and I'll walk through that in just a moment.
Okay.
So Jason, rock and roll. Here we go.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that intuition by itself is just a conduit for information, and it's consciousness that makes the information meaningful.
Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow out any veils and illusions. And by the way, I see negative energy. This is just for me, but it's a suggestion. Moves easier to the left than it does to the right. And make sure you put that negative energy, meaning the veils and illusions, that's it more than anything, into that processor. You don't want to do all of this work and get up and walk back into it, because energy and especially negative energy, doesn't want to budge or move easily. So with that said, I'm going to shorten it up. Here we go. And to eliminate the barriers, that's the barriers. So I can see predicting the future is not the purpose of intuition. Free will makes prediction difficult. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow out that barrier that's keeping you from that's keeping you stuck thinking you can predict the future. Blow it out.
And to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm that I have because my pipeline is filled with negative energy, which keeps me from being who I am authentically in the world.
So let's clear that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in that pipeline and throw it away.
That negative energy in your pipeline affects so many parts of your life.
I was going to say your world. Exactly. Yeah. So, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that intuition is not a simple skill. All humans have it, but it's a pipeline that carries information that is useless to me without developing my consciousness. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that intuition problem solving can be very helpful by using avatars to represent the pieces of the problem and then is a part of a holistic thinking process that we all have. But unless we constantly remove the negative energy from the pipeline, it is barely usable.
Nice. Pick up all that garbage, all that, and throw it away, that clogged stuff. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that intuition can be applied to any area of my life and I can specialize in areas where needed. That's pretty darn cool. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that consciousness is the key to developing intuition because it makes relevant all the information that comes through.
Yes. Take a breath and blow it out. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that developing my evolved consciousness comes from removing the negative energy in my pipeline that keeps me from greater consciousness. Nice and easy. Clear those barriers, clear that clog, clear that just yuck. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that to develop consciousness, the key is to understand my emotional story and use that story for clearing.
That's a great beginning, everyone. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow out the blocks that are keeping you from developing your consciousness. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that it's a major breakthrough to understand that intuition development is not a result of practice, but comes from removing negative energy from my essence, which is exactly what the ecosystem approach does for everyone. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out. Now, I'm going to activate some life force. All right, here we go. Follow along, everyone. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force for all of the things that I need, want, desire, and deserve, such as clarity, consciousness, courage, and laughter and love right now. By the way, laughter is one of the greatest things that we have in life. Now, what I want you to do is pull in that life force energy from in through the top of your head. Let it go all the way down to the tips of your toes. Stop it there. Ask it to turn around. Let it do two things at once and remove negative energy that's blocking you, clogging that pipeline to your intuition right now. Take a breath and blow it out. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to have a rich life by making my intuition a part of the thinking process using the ecosystem approach.
I love that. Nice and easy. Pull it in. What you're pulling in is hope and then blowing out everything that's blocking you from having the hope and understanding, not only who you are, but what it is you want. And to activate life force so I can trust that removing negative energy will help my intuition and my consciousness in so many ways. Pull it in and blow it out.
And to activate life force so I can decide to use the ecosystem approach to develop my intuition and my consciousness.
There you go. Pull it in and blow it out. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and have laughter and love, as we talked about a minute ago, but also have the ability to give myself permission to have more consciousness and have more awareness to who I am and what's blocking me, remove it, and then go on with my life easily, smoothly, starting right now, today. Pull it in and blow it out. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
It's time travel for everyone.
Ooh, okay.
You know, we've talked about time travel before.
Sure.
And in this show, we're going to use it for everyone.
Okay.
You know, using your imagination and going to a time in your past that was difficult for you is relatively easy to do.
Sure.
People daydream and do that all the time.
Sure.
But what we teach you to do once you get there is game changing. It's life changing.
Yeah.
It can be amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to focus on in next week's show. And we hope you can listen. It's going to be a very significant show. Don't miss this one. This is a big deal.
You know what? I absolutely love this because it has changed I'm going to say it this way, my attitude about how I felt about my past.
Yeah.
And how I've dealt with it and how I've seen how it's held me, I'm going to use the word hostage, for years. And you know what? I've got way too many things to do. Not only help myself, but help you guys as well. And if my past is standing in the way, doesn't work so well.
It's like negative energy in your pipe.
There we go. Perfect. He just said it.
So
all right, Jason.
So if you're thinking, well, oh my gosh, I need this. This is what I need. I need to know more about this. I want to use the ecosystem approach to develop my intuition and my consciousness.
There you go.
Here's what you can do. Okay. It's very simple. First of all, watch or listen to our show every week.
Yes.
It's really, really important. We take different aspects of the energy world and we talk about them
all the time.
And it just helps you understand these concepts more clearly.
Yes.
Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, sign up for our free section. Go to our YouTube channel, The Ecosystem Approach. We have it all laid out there. Please like us while you're there. Subscribe. We'd love to have a subscription. It's we've got shorts there and we've got playlists based on different topics, so you can pick out the topic that's affecting you in the moment.
Right.
It's an amazing thing. And our Facebook, we also have a Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org, and you can find us there and watch our videos there.
And you know what? Tell a friend.
Yes.
Tell a friend. Get yourself a clearing buddy. This is. It can really help change your life because you then can have two perspectives on whatever issues that you're working on. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.